Hi, everybody. We are back again with a whole new series of podcasts on the most searched and trending topics in the mental health area and industry. A big thank you to everyone who has been a part of our journey and is constantly supporting us. But if you're watching us for the first time, please do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today we have with us Ms. Akshata Bakshi. She's a PhD in social psychology and a relationship expert at HopeQure Wellness. Hi Akshata, thank you for taking out time and joining us.
Thank you for having me here, Ashika.
It's a pleasure to have you. So I just want to start today's conversation by saying that whatever information I get on psychology these days is not from the team, but from reels that I watch.
Yeah.
So when initially I was studying psychology, I came across these two terms, fight and flight. So उस time तो I don't think I studied that much, but now as and when I'm watching the reels, it's coming a lot.
Yeah.
So what are these two things, fight and flight? I think these are responses.
Yes, these are responses. So fight and flight is a very important tool for you to understand. अगर ये समझ में आ गया, तो you understand how your body reacts to stress, right? So what happens is fight and flight are two basic stress responses whenever you have a perceived threat to anything.
So I want to start today's conversation by saying that whatever information I get these days is mostly through reels.
Yeah.
Not from the team, not from people around here, but from reels.
Yeah.
And when I was initially studying psychology, I came across these two responses called fight and flight.
Yeah.
But that time I didn't pay that much attention, I'll be honest. But now that I'm watching it so frequently, I want to understand from you, what are these responses?
Fight and flight responses. Yes. So these are body's natural way to react to stress. Everybody has it. It's just that when you understand this, it becomes a little bit easier and much more, let's say, dissect करना problem को easy हो जाता है when you understand your body.
That's
you know, the
true.
mind-body connection. So what happens is, अगर आपको कोई threat perceive होता है, for example, somebody said something to you and you felt very offended by it, or you felt disappointed by it, you might have some physiological reactions, right? Or you might have an outburst. Anything can happen. So this is basically your body protecting you against the threat that you perceive. So that's like fight and flight response. But they both are differentiated in a different way. Like you would have different responses for each response. Yes.
Okay. So very interesting term you came up with, different response for different responses. So continuing that, I want to understand कि flight में क्या होगा और fight में क्या होगा अगर मेरा response है तो.
तो fight response, as the name suggests, जब भी कोई threat होगा, yes, you would want to overpower it.
Okay.
Right? तो अगर मैं बहुत literal sense में बात करूँ, it's like let's say your friend said something to you and you felt bad about it and you acted out aggressively. कभी कभी ये भी symptoms हो सकते हैं that you might feel गुस्से में रोना आ जाता है काफ़ी बार, वो हो सकता है. At the end you want to fight and overpower the threat. Now you do it by being defensive, by being aggressive, by any kind of, let's say somebody even would like to punch somebody, even that thought, that's a fight response. You might not be able to execute it, but if your body automatically gets into that mode, it's like you protecting yourself from that threat.
Okay.
That's fight. Flight response, as the name suggests, it's escape. Yes. So flight is you feel that you cannot overpower the threat. So what you do is you would start feeling numb sometimes. You might feel okay, yes. So overthinking, for example, that's one of the flight responses. It's like कोई threat हुआ. Same example, let me take that. Your friend said something to you didn't like. So some people would be reactive. Some people would internalize it. When they internalize it, what happens? They start overthinking. They go into this downward spiral loop, right? Sometimes they would become very fidgety. Right?
Okay.
Because those are some ways to feel safer and protect yourself. Because you feel you cannot overpower, but your body needs to process it somehow because your nervous system is dysregulated. So this is how you try. Your body automatically tries to soothe you.
Okay. So this is a bit heavy to absorb all at once.
Yeah.
But are there any more responses apart from these two?
Oh yes, there are two more, that is freeze and fawn. So to explain it in a little simpler way,
Yeah.
freeze response is you're suddenly withdrawn and numb. You freeze to any particular threat that is perceived. So it can be as simple as if you're walking on the road and let's say a dog comes in, right, and you're afraid of dogs. Some people would run, some people might fight it by throwing the stones or something, and some people would just freeze.
अच्छा वो
They
वहीं
would
खड़े
not
हैं तो
move.
वहीं खड़े
Yes.
रह गए. Okay.
And this is same psychologically. आपको कोई threat feel होता है, same example, your friend says something to you didn't like, you would not even go into the overthinking mode, you would not even act out, you would just freeze. You'll be like numb or withdrawn, right? You feel stuck at times because of that. So these three responses, fight, flight and freeze, these responses are very automatic of your body, like stress responses, because जब भी कोई threat perceive होता है किसी को भी, adrenaline या oxytocin, the stress hormones basically gets active, जिसकी वजह से your body gets the signal that it is in danger, and your mind goes into this protective mode, hence fight, flight and freeze. Now before I go into the fawn response, it's very important for everybody to understand that हर किसी के physiological reactions होते हैं. You might feel palpitations, especially in freeze responses. एकदम से ऐसे palpitations होगा, sweating हो सकता है, you might feel shiver, ये सब हो सकता है. And even people who are about to fight something or about to, let's say, overthinking, उनको भी anxiety या panic होता है, right? So physiological reactions same हो सकते हैं, but it is very important to understand that इन सब के पीछे psychological reasons हैं जो बहुत different है हर किसी के लिए. Because ये जो हम सेफ्टी या इनसिक्योरिटी या थ्रेट परसीव करते हैं, वो हम परसीव करते हैं हमारे पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस से. तो हमारा जो कंडीशन फियर है, तो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मेरे फ्रेंड ने मुझे कुछ बोला, मैं उसको थ्रेट परसीव कर ही क्यों रही हूँ, बिकॉज मे बी आई हैव अ हिस्ट्री वेयर आई हैव सीन दैट पीपल आर डिसअपॉइंटेड बाय मी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, or maybe people have rejected me. So suddenly I associate that fear with stress, threat. Yes. Hence fight, flight and freeze.
Okay.
Coming to fawn response. Fawning, I think many people have heard this term, people pleasing.
Yeah.
Yes. So fawn response is people pleasing. Okay. Now let me make you understand this in a little different way. Let's say आपका अगर history रह चुका है of abandonment and rejection, you have very early learned in your life that शायद मेरे emotions important नहीं है, शायद मुझे दूसरों के लिए अपने फीलिंग्स को कॉम्पनसेट करने के लिए, सॉरी मुझे मतलब लेट्स से इफ आई वांट टू शेयर समथिंग विद यू एंड आई नो इट माइट ब्रिंग सम काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन अस, आई वुड नॉट शेयर इट विद यू, बिकॉज पहले ऐसा हुआ है कि मैंने जब भी अपने दिल की बात बोली है मेरी लड़ाई हो गई है, राइट? नोबडी अंडरस्टूड मी. सो व्हाट आई लर्नड इज, ओके, टू बी एक्सेप्टेड एंड लव्ड आई नीड टू कीप माई नीड्स एट द बैक सीट and I need to please the other person, be there for them at my cost. ऐसे बहुत सारे वेरिड इंसिडेंट्स हो सकते हैं जिसकी वजह से यू लर्न दिस. अब कल को मुझे कोई भी थ्रेट परसीव होगा, आई माइट फील दैट ओके आई नीड टू प्लीज और अपीज और लेट्स से बी विद द पर्सन एट एनी कॉस्ट, in any way, please them, appease with them, so that I want to avoid the conflict and the threat to make myself feel safe. Now this continues, ऐसा नहीं है उसको पता नहीं है, हर इंसान को पता होता है, but it continues until your body realizes, okay, do you want to fight or flight? Because people please, fawning responses and these other responses can shift from one to another.
Yeah.
Yes.
This brings me to my last question, and that is कि ज़रूरी है कि अगर मेरा अभी फाइट रिस्पॉन्स है तो वो हमेशा फाइट ही रहेगा या वो बदल सकता है, या अगर अभी मेरा फोन रिस्पॉन्स है तो वो फोन ही रहेगा?
नहीं, it can be anybody. Like even if I have, everybody has these stress responses. Fawn is something which is very related to your history.
Okay.
But fight, flight and freeze is very much related, is very much internal. Everybody has these.
Okay.
Right? So जब भी कोई आपको stress होगा, but how your body reacts, it can be different every time. But you would always have one dominant one.
Okay. So for me, I've been feeling I have fight and fawn somewhere.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of food for thought right now, and I would go back home and think and watch more reels and come back to you again with questions.
Definitely. And there are some ways you can, ऐसा नहीं है, so you can basically help yourself come out of these responses to feel more secure in a healthy way, because ultimately your goal is to feel safe.
Yeah.
So the fear को dissociate करना थोड़ा सा we can learn over the time. That can happen through therapy and other practices.
So any simple tips that people can do ताकि
Yes.
इन responses से वो अपने आप को safely बाहर निकालें?
First is self-awareness at any cost. You should know how you react, how your body acts. That is, start paying attention to your physiological responses. Second, grounding techniques, that's here and now. Matlab, try to be mindful, as in, for example, if you're getting triggered and you understand कि okay मेरे को गुस्सा आ रहा है या मैं एकदम से numb हो गई हूँ, it's all right to take space, take a pause. उस pause में you need to bring yourself back to the present rather than focusing on the triggered state. How can you do that? Is there is one very amazing technique which is a grounding technique. You use your senses, 5 senses. So you can always sit down, do the breathing a little bit and see around. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can smell, and 2 things you can touch. उससे एकदम से you come to the present, you become a little focused and body centered, right? And breathing techniques, energy release techniques, as in physical activities, body movements work the best in these.
Okay.
These are very common for all the 4 responses.
For now, I think I have understood a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel others might have also understood, because I was only aware a bit, but now that a lot of information has come,
Yeah.
it's a bit overwhelming, being honest. But I think with the right help, with the right space, and with the right awareness,
Yes.
anyone and everyone can come out of these, right?
Definitely, yes. You can always understand these.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Akshita, for taking out time and letting me know what this is. Definitely food for thought, like I've been saying. So if any of you have any doubts related to these or want us to talk more about it, please feel free to drop in the comments, and Akshita and I will be back again with your questions. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you.